What if the cheap brown bottle in your medicine cabinet is actually a chemical Trojan horse? You see it all over the internet. Viral videos claiming hydrogen peroxide is the ultimate non-toxic miracle cure. They tell you to swish it to whiten teeth or soak your strawberries in it, but that satisfying fizzing white foam is not what you think. It is not the sound of bacteria dying. It is the sound of your own healthy cells being violently ripped apart in real time. That $3 bottle of drugstore hydrogen peroxide has a dark side, and using it could be a massive mistake for your health. Look closely at the warning label on that cheap plastic bottle. It says in bold letters, "For external use only." Yet millions of people are now putting this chemical straight into their mouths. They think they are practicing ancient natural wisdom. They think they are outsmarting big chemical corporations by using a cheap alternative. But they are playing a dangerous game. Think about the science of hydrogen peroxide. At its core, it is just water with an extra highly unstable oxygen atom. By all laws of chemistry, it should break down rapidly. So how does that cheap bottle sit on a warm store shelf for 3 whole years? Why does it not turn into flat, useless water? The answer is simple but highly disturbing. It is packed with hidden toxic chemical stabilizers, 2 specific substances the manufacturers definitely do not want you to search on Google. And they are quietly slipping into your body. Look closely at the fine print on that brown bottle of drugstore hydrogen peroxide. Actually, you might not even find them listed. Many brands hide these ingredients under the vague word stabilizers, but they are there, and they have to be. Without them, a bottle of pure hydrogen peroxide would naturally break down into water and oxygen very quickly. To give it a 3-year shelf life, chemical companies have to lock the liquid in a state of chemical suspended animation. The first secret ingredient they use is sodium stannate. This is a complex compound made from tin. Yes, tin, a heavy metal. In the bottle, sodium stannate acts like a microscopic cage. It binds to trace metal ions to keep the hydrogen peroxide completely dead and quiet. But if you ingest even tiny amounts of this heavy metal over time, your body has to deal with it. Medical experts warn that heavy metals can slowly accumulate in your liver and kidneys. Your vital organs must constantly struggle to filter them out. Over months of daily use, this slow buildup can place a silent, toxic burden on your body. Yet sodium stannate is actually the milder chemical in the bottle. The second stabilizer is far more alarming. It is called acetanilide. This is a synthetic compound derived from coal tar. Back in the 19th century, doctors actually used acetanilide to treat fevers, but they quickly banned it. They realized it was highly toxic to human blood and the nervous system. It was found to cause a dangerous condition called methylhemoglobinemia. This is a terrifying process where your red blood cells are altered. They lose the ability to release vital oxygen to your tissues. Your body literally begins to suffocate from the inside out. Yet, this banned medical chemical is still used today to stabilize cheap hydrogen peroxide. To make things worse, manufacturers also add phosphoric acid. They do this to force the liquid into an extremely acidic state. We are talking about a pH level between 2 and 3. That is almost as acidic as the fluid inside your stomach. It is designed to sit safely inside a thick plastic bottle, not to touch your living cells. Every time you use it, you are exposing yourself to a harsh, acidic chemical cocktail. But the real destruction does not stop at your liver or your kidneys. It starts right at the point of first contact. It starts inside your mouth. And the true cost of using drugstore hydrogen peroxide for a whiter smile is something your dentist hopes you never have to experience. It starts inside your mouth. The price you pay for instantly white teeth is devastating. It is something your dentist hopes you never have to experience. Your mouth is not a sterile wasteland. It is a thriving, delicate ecosystem. Inside, over 700 species of bacteria work to keep you healthy. These microbes are your first line of defense against disease. But when you try these viral hydrogen peroxide uses, you unleash a microscopic weapon. Do you know what happens next? The liquid floods your mouth with aggressive oxygen-free radicals. They do not distinguish between friend and foe. They simply obliterate every cell membrane they touch. With your natural defenses wiped out, a dangerous power vacuum is created. This open space allows opportunistic fungi like Candida to grow completely unchecked. You think you are cleaning, but you are actually inviting a painful yeast infection. Then there is the sheer acidity of the liquid. With a pH level between 2 and 3, it is highly corrosive. It causes microscopic chemical burns on your delicate oral tissues. This acid attacks the tiny hair-like bumps on your tongue. Instead of shedding naturally, these damaged bumps can grow abnormally long. They begin to trap food, bacteria, and dead cells. The American Dental Association actually warns about this bizarre condition. They call it black hairy tongue. Your tongue literally begins to look dark, thick, and overgrown. At the same time, the harsh acid is silently eating away at your teeth. It strips away the vital minerals that keep your enamel strong. Your teeth become porous, weak, and highly sensitive. But there is an even deeper hazard hiding in your mouth. If you have ever had a cavity filled, you might have silver amalgam fillings. These fillings contain a mixture of metals, including liquid mercury. Some scientific research suggests that hydrogen peroxide can accelerate the corrosion of these fillings. It triggers a silent electrochemical reaction on the metal surface. This process can release tiny amounts of highly toxic mercury vapor. You then inhale this invisible gas directly into your lungs, or you swallow it, sending it straight into your digestive tract. So that quick, cheap trick for fresh breath is actually a trap. You are not curing bad breath. You are destroying your oral ecosystem and risking permanent tissue damage. But if you think avoiding this mouthwash makes you safe, think again. Do you use this same brown bottle to wash those fresh red strawberries for your children? This is where the chemical threat gets even closer to home. Because those porous red berries act like tiny organic sponges. They do not just get clean under the water, they actively absorb whatever you put on them. When you use standard drugstore hydrogen peroxide to wash your produce, a silent transfer occurs. The fruit drinks in the liquid. Along with it, your food absorbs those industrial heavy metal stabilizers and toxic acetanilide. You cannot rinse these chemicals off. They are now locked inside the very flesh of the fruit. And this brings us to one of the most popular myths on the internet. You have probably seen the viral videos praising the Amish for using this simple brown bottle. Influencers call it their secret to pure, chemical-free living. But this is a complete illusion. The Amish do use hydrogen peroxide in their daily farming, but they would never touch the cheap bottle from your local pharmacy. Instead, they rely on something entirely different. They use 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide. This is an ultra-pure, highly concentrated liquid. It contains absolutely zero chemical stabilizers. It decomposes completely into nothing but pure water and oxygen. But online creators missed this crucial distinction. They saw the Amish using it and assumed the cheap drugstore bottle was identical. Then the social media algorithms took over. Platforms pushed those satisfying, bubbling videos to millions of screens. But those dramatic bubbles on your broccoli are not just lifting dirt. They are a warning sign of chemical absorption. Now, you might think the obvious solution is to just buy the 35% food-grade liquid yourself. But please listen very closely. At 35% concentration, hydrogen peroxide is highly volatile and extremely dangerous. It is not a gentle home remedy. Spilling it on your bare skin can cause severe chemical burns instantly. Inhaling its concentrated vapors can permanently damage your lungs, and swallowing it undiluted can be fatal. It is an industrial tool, not a casual kitchen hack. So the internet sold you a dangerous shortcut that puts your health at risk. But the invisible damage of this $3 bottle does not stop inside your body. It might also be targeting your home. This cheap liquid could be silently eating away at your most expensive household investments. Think about your beautiful marble countertops or your polished hardwood floors. Do you know what happens when this corrosive acid touches them? The moment that $3 liquid hits your natural stone, a silent chemical reaction begins. Many high-end countertops, like marble and granite, are made of calcium carbonate, and hydrogen peroxide is highly acidic, with a pH level of about 2. This acid immediately begins to dissolve the stone. It causes a permanent chemical damage called etching. This leaves dull, cloudy spots that no polish can ever fix. The Natural Stone Institute explicitly warns against cleaning with hydrogen peroxide. One viral internet hack can ruin a $5,000 slab of marble in seconds. And the destruction does not stop at your countertops. Think about your wooden cutting boards and hardwood floors. Wood gets its strength from a natural organic binder called lignin. But hydrogen peroxide is a powerful oxidizer. It aggressively attacks and breaks down this lignin. It strips away the natural moisture of the wood. This leaves the fibers dry, brittle, and prone to warping. Soon, your cutting board begins to split. Those tiny microscopic cracks become the perfect breeding ground for bacteria and mold. By trying to sterilize your board, you might have just created a permanent sanctuary for germs. Your metal fixtures are not safe either. Hydrogen peroxide introduces massive amounts of active oxygen directly to metal surfaces. This rapidly accelerates rust on iron and copper. It can easily tarnish stainless steel and eat away the delicate chrome plating on your faucets. That satisfying bubbling action you see on your sink is not just cleaning. It is the sound of your expensive fixtures corroding. It is a painful economic paradox. You think you are saving a few pennies on a homemade cleaning spray, but you risk paying thousands of dollars to repair your home. The internet promised a cheap, universal miracle. Instead, it handed us a slow-motion wrecking ball. But you do not have to live in fear of your own home. We are here to reclaim the genuine wisdom of the past. How did our grandmothers keep their homes spotless and safe? How do the Amish maintain pristine environments without these destructive drugstore chemicals? The secret lies in understanding the true nature of what we are using, and it starts with a completely different approach to clean living. To find our way back, we must look at how to safely use the right kind of hydrogen peroxide. To reclaim this lost wisdom, we must first understand how the chemical industry divides this simple molecule. This brings us to our first major step, understanding the grades of hydrogen peroxide. Not all peroxide is created equal. In fact, the industry divides it into three very distinct categories. First, there is industrial grade. This is cheap to produce and is used for heavy manufacturing and bleaching paper. However, it often contains trace amounts of heavy metals and toxic impurities. Second, there is the common medical grade. This is the 3% brown bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. But as we revealed, this grade is loaded with chemical stabilizers to extend its shelf life. But then there is the third option. This is 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide. It is the gold standard of purity. It contains absolutely zero chemical stabilizers. It is just pure hydrogen peroxide and water. The FDA even approves this specific grade for sanitizing food packaging and processing equipment. So why is this pure version hidden in plain sight? It all comes down to corporate profit margins. A single gallon of 35% food-grade peroxide costs about $30 to $40. But when you dilute it down to a safe 3% strength, that single gallon yields over 40 liters of solution. That works out to less than $1 per liter. Compare that to paying $10 for a single corporate cleaning spray. The big chemical companies want you dependent on 15 different plastic bottles. It is a brilliant business model, but a terrible deal for your wallet. By learning the secrets of cleaning with hydrogen peroxide, you can bypass their entire empire. But we must respect the raw power of this substance. At 35% concentration, this liquid is highly volatile. It is not a toy, and it is not a gentle home remedy. When handling the concentrate, you must always wear thick protective gloves and goggles. A single splash on your bare skin will cause instant, painful white chemical burns. And you must store it safely in a cool, dark place, completely out of reach of children and pets. Safety is not optional here, but once you know how to handle it safely, you hold the ultimate key to a clean home. And now, I am going to hand you that key. Here is the exact mathematical dilution guide to turn this powerful concentrate into the safest, most effective solutions for your kitchen, your countertops, and your family. To create 1 liter of pure, stabilizer-free 3% hydrogen peroxide, you need to follow a simple, precise ritual. First, measure exactly 85 milliliters of your 35% food-grade concentrate. Then, combine it with 915 milliliters of water. But there is a critical catch. It must be distilled water. Never use tap water for this process. Tap water contains trace minerals, chlorine, and metal ions. These tiny impurities will immediately react with the hydrogen peroxide. They will trigger a premature reaction, breaking it down into plain water before it ever touches your countertops. By using distilled water, you ensure your solution stays stable, active, and potent. This simple mix is the foundation for dozens of safe hydrogen peroxide uses around your home. Now let us look at how to put this to work, starting with your food. This technique is inspired by a forgotten 1965 agricultural bulletin from the USDA. To clean your fresh produce, add 15 to 30 milliliters of your homemade 3% solution to a large bowl of cool water. Let your fruits and vegetables soak for about 5 minutes. You will see tiny bubbles form as the oxygen gently lifts away organic residue. After 5 minutes, rinse them thoroughly with fresh water and pat them dry. For oral hygiene, you can create a highly effective clean mouthwash, but you must never use it at full 3% strength. Instead, mix your 3% solution 1-to-1 with distilled water to dilute it down to 1.5%. Swish it gently for no more than 30 seconds, and most importantly, never swallow it. This simple rinse keeps your mouth clean without the artificial dyes and chemicals of store-bought brands. When it comes to cleaning with hydrogen peroxide, surfaces matter. You can spray your 3% solution directly onto plastic cutting boards or stainless steel sinks to sanitize them. But if you are using it on wood or stone, remember to wipe it off after just 1 minute. This protects the natural finishes while still neutralizing bacteria. With this single formula, you reclaim complete control over your home. You no longer need to buy 15 different plastic bottles designed by corporate marketing departments. You step away from the endless cycle of expensive synthetic chemicals. It is a quiet, powerful shift toward true self-reliance. If you want to protect your family and reclaim this forgotten wisdom, hit the subscribe button. Join us as we uncover the truth about the everyday products in our homes. Because hydrogen peroxide is just the beginning. Right now, in your kitchen cabinet sits a little box of white powder. You probably use baking soda for baking, cleaning, or even brushing your teeth, believing it is completely natural. But the truth behind how industrial baking soda is manufactured might shock you. It is far more complex and far less natural than the industry wants you to believe. We will uncover that hidden story in our next video. See you there.